Welcome to Speaking of Stadia, episode 17. I'm Jacob Porter, and as with me always is Aaron. No, I messed it up already. The
That's okay. I always have like 10 nicknames for you.
Well,
What's up, everybody? I'm,
well,
of course, your other host, Aaron C.
no. I ruined it.
No,
See, this is why you
great.
host. I don't do it. I had a whole.
I feel like I'm in the middle of like mom and dad fighting right now.
Oh, man.
No, just me messing up horribly.
You were wonderful. I always do the intro, Waba. So that's why that was a little rocky. That was Porter's first time. But as you guys know, we canceled last week's show. I was under the weather. I had no voice. And now I have about 60% of one. So we're doing it, baby. I'm back. Welcome to the 17th episode. As Mr. Porter said, we have a special guest with us right here. Is Mr. Waba from twitch.tv/Waba Plays, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
I nailed it. Thank you so much for joining us. Me and Waba were able to put together a little show on his YouTube channel where he beat me at Madden, and I was very embarrassed.
I mean, we were predicting the future, and then Tampa ended up winning. So I think we're actually on track.
Yeah.
So we're 1 for 1, and maybe they'll
100% in predicting football games. Waba, tell us a little bit about your channel and
Sure. So I'm Waba Plays. I'm mainly a content creator on Twitch. I stream almost exclusively NHL series, Ultimate Team. If you don't like Ultimate Team or hockey or you don't care, that's fine. We talk about like other games and anime and all this other stuff that's not hockey related too. I do a bunch of different videos on YouTube. Most of them are people yelling at me in messages after we play, after they win. And yeah, I'm also affiliated with EA through the Game Changer program, and been very fortunate to be able to work with them in the capacity each new game cycle. So also go Bruins.
There you go. And because of that, you were so kind that you hooked us up with some codes for Madden 21. That was really, really generous of you to be able to get those from EA. So we will be giving those out throughout the show, courtesy of Waba Plays. Make sure to check out his Twitch. It'll be in the show notes, twitch.tv/Waba Plays. It's a good time. I've jumped in on a couple of those streams. He also has a wonderful podcast, the 3 Dads podcast. So make sure to check that out as well. Go on there and listen to hot takes from his co-hosts on The Last of Us and other things like Naughty Dog. That's right, Pez. I'm still coming at you.
Oh my gosh! Even in a different show, he's getting yelled at. This is so on brand. I love
it. Any other places that you want people to check out your content or your shows or anything like that?
Pretty much, I'm primarily Twitch. I'm on Twitter all the time with like really poor hockey takes and retweets about like sports anime, but. You can find me on Twitch almost daily in the afternoons Eastern time, or like around 4:30 Eastern time.
That's awesome. And the other thing that I wanted you to talk about briefly before you head out on us today was us playing Madden for your show. It was your first time playing Stadia.
It was. So you sold me on the Stadia. I didn't understand it. So as of before last weekend, I actually installed a new graphics card Saturday, and by I mean my brother-in-law did. I had one that could run me. It is to me. I had to go all the way out and get him like Chinese food he wanted. That was like half an hour away. There's a whole story.
Funny.
I don't know how to do anything computer related, which is why I didn't understand that. The Stadia is just like a website. I'm probably still describing it poorly for people who like play it all the time, but Aaron told me, he said, okay, what do I need to download? And he's like, you're good.
just go to this URL. You're fine. Like,
walking him through it was actually pretty awesome. He's like, well, I don't have like the Stadia controller. And I was like, no, because he was going to bring in somebody else. He's like, well, Court, we'll have to set up the stream for you and Court since he has a Stadia controller. I was like, dude, you can play with any controller. And that was your first like, what moment? I was like, yeah, like whatever you want to use.
I plugged the PlayStation controller in and it just did it. I didn't have to like install a driver or wait. It just like I even had my PlayStation on, so I was hitting up and it was moving both the Stadia and the PlayStation, which that in itself is crazy how the controller will still control both. That's how like like it's hands off Stadia is in terms of like occupying like what you're doing with it.
Yeah, and then the second thing was when we got ready to do the stream, you were like, Man, I've had my computer just sitting open for an hour, like assuming I have to download something, like ready to go.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, you literally just click play and you're off to the races. What did you think your experience was? Like, did you feel like it ran smooth, any latency, anything like that? I mean, you beat me, so obviously you didn't have that much of a disadvantage.
I mean, I lied. I've been practicing every night. No, it was good. I could notice. So my the way I play is PS5. Previously PS4, so I'm very much a console person. I don't have any experience with Stadia, but when I was playing it, there was a very little bit of latency, but nothing I would expect if I wasn't looking out for it, because I was interested in trying to make that comparison. So really, like, moving the player, there wasn't that, maybe like very slight, and the graphics weren't as good, but also I didn't mess with them at all. It was a little more, I don't know. I didn't mess with those settings, so I don't want to say like this is how it is. But with my experience, it was a little grainier than maybe a console. But
Okay.
I also didn't spend time tweaking it because I guess I wanted to just get and play, and I was excited for that piece.
Awesome. Well, man, thanks again so much for joining us and hanging out. Again, I'll put everything in the show notes of where people can find you. Check him out on Twitch. Your co-host and your friend Court is in here saying you didn't beat me by that much.
Thanks, Court.
That's absolutely true. It was a pretty close game. You can, of course, check that out. Is it also the same youtube.com/WabaPlays?
It is. And man, we were excellent. I can't believe how low scoring it was. It was no interceptions or turnovers. It was just hard fought.
No, I definitely didn't throw 6 interceptions with Patrick Mahomes. It's fine.
You almost did that too, so you were pretty on.
Oh, it was terrible. But anyways, go check that video out. It was a good time.
Well, no, and thank you for having me. Enjoy the codes. Speaking of Stadia audience, Aaron and Jacob, awesome dudes. So
Thank you.
hope you all enjoy and put them to good use. And if you ever want to play them, they have no excuse not to challenge you. And Aaron's had some practice, so
now I'm warmed up. That's right. I just had to knock off the cobwebs.
Exactly.
Awesome, Waba. You're a gracious host as always. Thanks so much, sir, and thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. Good luck. Give them hell, guys.
All right, that was Waba Plays coming in for the intro.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
Actually, speaking of Madden, actually, I played with my brother the night of Super Bowl right before we were waiting for the game to start, and
Nice.
I am terrible. I haven't played in like 3 or 4 years. Besides, like my little bit of time on XCloud. God, I'm terrible against actual people. So
I kept thinking I was so cool against Waba, like with these big bomb plays and like these big passes, and he picked me off like 9 out of 10 times. It was so embarrassing. Awesome. Well, Jacob, let's get to it. Let's get to the normal part of the show. Tell me a little bit about what you've been playing, man.
So yeah, Madden is one thing I played a little bit of, the Super Bowl, and I played a little bit before that. So yeah, I did with the Ultimate Team. And granted, it's from what I actually saw, people said that it's crossplay with PC, but like looking at the auction pool, because I like to go in the auction and get cards for kind of cheap individual cards just to try and build my team up right away.
Yeah.
And there was like nothing there. It was like, I'm like, okay, this is not great. Like, and like EA has crossplay on Apex, but like nothing, other big titles. And I'm like, this is a problem just for EA in general. But like, if it is truly crossplay with PC, then in that pool, that's bad. Especially this is during the free weekend I was playing it. So it was kind of surprising that it was that low. Still playing more. I mean, besides that, I do want to go through the story of that at least a little bit. And go back to try that out, give it a good fair shake. Obviously playing more Immortals. I'm pretty much towards the end. I'm at the final bit of that game. I mean, granted, I guess I could wander around, do more stuff, but I think I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I'm ready to move on. I kind of cleared all the wraiths. I've done all 4 gods, done their extra content, their extra missions after you finish their like main story. And so I pretty much have all like the mission things knocked off. It's really just like, hey, go towards the King's Peak. So I'm getting there. I think I'm gonna go probably finish that by this week. Is my hope.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've been kind of milking it, but it's been a fun time. I'm really enjoying that game, honestly.
Nice.
It's been playing on every whatever device and been having a good time with that. Outside of that, I'm trying to think of what else I played because I'm on Stadia because I have other stuff I want to talk about, but I want to make sure I cover all my Stadia stuff before that. I think that's it, really. Yeah, I think that's it for. I still haven't gotten into Journey of Savage Planet. I did play that a little bit on xCloud. I played on xCloud a little bit, so I want to maybe play it with like either you or a friend. See if we can convince one of my friends to play. I was trying to get my one buddy to play with me this past weekend, but instead we played Apex Legends. So that was, I mean, also me just playing my board game stuff because I actually got my wife to play some games with me finally. It was nice. But yeah, other than that, I tried some Luna.
Oh, so I finally got into some Luna.
I finally got my code for Luna. So I went and played 4 games on Luna. I'm trying to remember right now. It was Sonic Mania. I played Control actually last night.
Oh, nice.
Rainbow Six Siege, and there was one other one which I cannot remember right now, and I can't pull it up on my phone because I don't have this is not supported by my phone, and I don't know if there's an app otherwise. But so yeah, I tried at least those few games. Rainbow Six Siege was essentially unplayable.
Fair.
It ran, but trying to actually play the game was unplayable in terms of being competitive. Anytime I tried moving, it would stutter. It would like stutter, like almost like slices as I turned, which is for a competitive shooter is that's
terrible.
Terrible.
That's about what my experience was. It seemed like playing Valhalla on Luna.
Oh, I tried to
not a good time.
Well, I hopped into Immortals as well. That was the 4th game.
Okay.
I wanted to try Immortals on there too. That was the 4th game. But yeah, I want to start with Rainbow Six anyway. Rainbow Six was rough. Like,
okay.
I wanted to play because my buddy who one of my good friends plays CG keeps constantly bothering me to play with him. So I'm like, fine, I'll play with you. I have Luna now, so I can actually play it because my PC couldn't. I mean, my actual desktop could handle it, but right now it's dead. And now that Ubisoft Plus, I can play it there, but I don't. My PC's not working well, so I'm on a laptop. Like, I'll try Luna, see if Luna works well enough I can play with you. And yeah, it was not bearable. Then I went ahead and played Sonic Mania, which ran fine. Honestly, that was actually a good experience overall. I think I had a few little issues, but nothing like. It's
also not the most taxing game.
Exactly. I wanted to go for a few different things, like for a Twitch-based shooter, and then went for something a little more relaxed. And yeah, Sonic ran fine. Some minor issues here and there, but nothing that I wouldn't like. Early stages of Stadia, be like, okay, that's passable. I can understand that.
Sure.
Immortals, this is just more of a Ubisoft problem. I know you did this as well. You played either Valhalla or
I played both.
Played both on there. Mm-hmm. Did you have to do the online save thing for both? Like you had to go to your Stadia game and upload your online save and then download.
Well, Valhalla, I don't remember what I had to do.
Immortals I had to.
Valhalla, it was my first time playing it. I didn't have Stadia yet because that was right before they released Ubisoft Plus.
Yes, correct.
So that one, but I don't remember with Immortals, honestly, now that you say that.
And sorry if you can hear my daughter crying in the background. If you
I can't.
That. Okay, good, because she is not having a good time going down tonight.
Fair.
So I apologize for the bad audio in the background. Immortals, you had to go into. So I went to the game like, okay, I'm going to play online save, like thinking like, it'll automatically upload auto saves to the cloud. And no, I had to go into Stadia, upload the save to the cloud, and then go into Luna, load the game from the online save, and then once I was done, I had to upload that save as well because otherwise the save wasn't there on Stadia when I went back to it. So it's a big workaround. That's more of a Ubisoft problem. I don't blame Luna or Stadia for that. That's just a bad implementation. If you're gonna have an online save, it should be seamless. Like, you should go to a cloud and I should just have it. Like, why? Yeah. Like, but defeats the purpose to me. But then, so otherwise the game ran better than Rainbow Six, but not great. It was definitely noticeable latency. Menus were okay, but other than that, it was like playing the game was a little tough, like jumping around a little bit, rubber banding and whatnot. And then Control, which I played for about an hour and a half last night. I didn't go too deep into it. And the game runs fine. A lot of like kind of not rubber banding, but like I would go to do like a say not even a quarter turn, like an eighth of a turn, and I'd be doing 180, which is great.
Okay.
Happened to me a half dozen times at least. Definitely latency just playing it, and then a lot of people talk about with Stadia the macro blocking and whatnot and dark screens. And that game is a very dark game. If you play Control,
I have. Yep.
Yeah, very dark game. Like I had to turn the brightness up because some rooms were impossible to see in, because if you did the balance how they tell you to do the balance, because of how it handles the compression, it was impossible to be in rooms. And it was like you could see all the blocks. It was so bad, the compression on the dark. Like Stadia, I mean, the only real dark game I played was Metro Exodus and Guilt, and neither of them I really noticed any dark. The only time I've really ever noticed the dark macro blocking stuff with compression stuff with Stadia is in transition screens. So say I'm like, if it's a loading screen and it has to go random black, I've noticed it there. But any time I've ever been like a dark area in a game, I've never noticed like tons of blocking. And Control was just like a checkerboard, like every single time I went to a dark area, which was most of the game. So at least the most of that first hour of that game is dark. So that was really discouraging. I'll say that much.
The most I've gotten with the blocking for me was in Little Nightmares, which I'll talk about when I talk about what I've been playing.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. So that was my experience with Luna. Multiple times when I jumped into the game for the first time, it would give me an error, and then I hit play again, and then it would load fine. The whole experience of downloading the actual client, if you will, that they have for the desktop was kind of clunky, and the actual like finding games discovery is not great. I didn't feel. Granted, like it's trying to do its best, like there's no like. I want to just see the games for like it still has a scroll to the side. Like, at least maybe I'm just dumb and didn't control very much.
No, I didn't think it was a great menu.
It was a great menu either. Though I'll give it one. I'll give it one thing that's kind of positive, and it's a little tiny thing. I was playing on my DS4, and when I went to plug it in, I just started playing. I like the light. I'm like, oh wait, that's clever. The light purple. The controller lights up purple when you're plugged it in because of Luna. I thought it was just a little touch. I know what
good
actually,
brand,
but it can do that. But it didn't grab the control mapping for PlayStation on Control.
Oh, weird.
I didn't notice it on other games, but it still had Xbox controller button prompts.
Huh.
But when I play on Stadia, I tried playing a game on Stadia last night. I played Immortals last night with the controller, the same conditions, just to see because my laptop is the network card in the laptop isn't great.
Sure.
I'm going to play Hardline for both, but I want to see how the same conditions compared for Stadia back like right one after the other. And granted, I didn't have the nice red light on my DS4, but the button prompts for at least Immortals came over for PlayStation, so I didn't have to worry about that. So just the little things that they both care about. Granted, that could be a control issue, but controls on PlayStation. So granted, they probably just poured over the Windows version of the game but still the button prompts are built into that Windows version too. So you think it would still have the ability to do that, but maybe that's a Luna back. I don't know, but that was just a little like gripe. That's in this day and age, like in now we're gone to 2021, Steam has been doing it, supporting the other controllers. If you support the controllers, the developers are developing for all these consoles. They have the button prompts built into them now. So just kind of frustrating. That was just a little nitpick, but overall simple games ran well. More difficult games were a little touchier. I'm going to play more Control on there because I do want to play Control. But we'll see if Luna really makes me not want to play it, if you will. Like that's okay. What I'm worried about Luna discouraging me from playing the game further.
Fair.
But yeah.
Sweet.
What have you been doing?
I beat all 3 Hitman games. I crushed the Hitman trilogy, and
when you're sick for a week and you really can't just kind of feel dead inside. Yeah, you just didn't play. Or is it before that? Before that?
It was like I literally beat it right before that. Before I got sick. Yeah.
So
and then since I've been sick, I've played a little bit of Little Nightmares, which is fun. I am playing
number 2, right? Yep. Oh, you played the first one.
Yeah, the first one, because I want to go through and play it and beat it before too.
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah, I
seem
don't
like
blame you.
there's like a deep rooted story yet, but I still
People
that's
love
just who I
that
am.
game though, so I mean,
Yeah, I mean it's cool, it's fun. I have been playing Madden. Apollo, sorry, as a Chiefs fan, I'm sure it was rough to watch the Super Bowl. But I've been enjoying my time with Madden on it, and other than when I'm losing to Waba. But yeah, that's about it. Being out for a whole week sick, like honestly, it hit me hard enough. I didn't even really game. Like I just kind of laid there. I can tell you about a lot of Apple Plus shows that I crushed on their 7-day free
I saw you
trial.
tweeting about that.
So that's what I've kind of been doing. But so not as much. Hitman was awesome though. Everybody should play that trilogy.
How was 3?
Fun.
How was 3?
So good. Hitman 3 was so much fun.
Rank the 3 games.
Give
me the hot take.
Probably 3, 2, 1, actually.
Oh, really? Okay. A lot of people liked 1. Granted, maybe that was just because.
Oh, actually, no, you're right. 3, 1, 2.
Okay.
That's.
A lot of people liked. I know you didn't like the Black Cinema scenes in 2.
Yeah.
But even still, like the whole, I guess people liked the 1 a lot more when it was out, because if you played it as it came out, they had all the different like hit missions. The story, but everyone loved that game when it came out. It was really well.
Honestly, it's so much fun. Like I'll be going back to do all the DLC stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I am pretty sure the end of that game is like the final mission, I think, is what they took to pitch getting the rights to make a Bond game.
Okay. Yeah, it's exciting to see. I'm excited to see what they'll do with
great with it.
Absolutely, I agree.
So
I'm excited to see that.
There were some really incredible missions in 3. There's a murder mystery mission that was so much fun.
I was watching you stream part of that.
Yep. So that was super cool. I love that game. I will be going back through and playing more missions and like trying different things, and it's so creative and it just lets you do whatever you want. Little Nightmares, I can't decide how I feel, to be honest, yet.
Okay.
Like it's a fun little platformer and there's some cool puzzles, but I don't really get it.
Does it compare to
Guilt? I feel like I'm just kind of floating room to room and solving the thing and moving on.
Does it compare to Guilt? Because it can't get the same vibe.
Kinda. Guilt is a little bit more like, here's the actual story, here's dialogue. Like this has no words in it.
Okay.
It's more like
atmospheric.
What is that game though? Inside?
Okay. Yeah.
It's a lot like that, where you're kind of just solving through the puzzles, shadow dodging, getting around monsters. I mean it's fun. The kid loves watching it and he plays That's it, good. So we do that. And I thought it was gonna be a little too creepy for him because some of the monster stuff is weird in it, but no, he was digging it. So that's kind of what we've been doing. I wanted to. I thought you want to
talk about the dark areas in that game.
Oh, that was the first time I've noticed it on Stadia. It was in Little Nightmares because it is such a dark game and you do have to play off the shadows a lot. I did notice a lot of micro blocking, which I thought was weird. It's like everything's still smooth. I'm not getting any latency or anything like that. But yeah, the dark areas are very, very blocky in that game.
Yeah, it's tough. It makes it, and that's a big barrier for barrier to entry for a lot of people coming into state. Like, oh well, the games look bad. Well, no, they look great. If you like, we're not pixel counting in a normal game like Immortals. I don't notice the difference. Like I couldn't if I put it next to my PS4. I only have a base PS4, so my barrier for like what games look like is really, really low.
Fair.
But like that Stadia looks great next to like on a big TV when it's nice and bright and vibrant. But when you get dark areas like that and it's so compressed, and it's like I can see why people would give Stadia flack. But how often do you play dark games? Like
right, not that often.
But I didn't notice anything Guilt though at all. Guilt, granted, was made for Stadia, but like that game, I noticed no blocking at all.
Little Nightmares 2 creeps me the fuck out, and that's why I loved it. Honestly, the first one is kind of creepy, so I'm excited to see if they're going to up that factor. And cool. Good to know that it's also like that on consoles.
Okay, good.
Sweet, man. Well,
but so yeah, let's get to the first story.
Yeah, let's jump into the news roadmap for the next 9 games. Hey, Jacob, I know this is kind of a weird podcast, but do you happen to have the doc up?
Yes, I do.
I'm going to pull me out of stream and go find a Kleenex because I have so much snot in my nose, as gross as that is. And I'm going to let you tell the people about this first story.
Do you want to pull up the do you have it open or no?
Yeah, I can get it to us. So we can screen share it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I was just saying if you can bring up like the main part of the article. I guess it doesn't matter. I can just talk about it.
Bam.
Either way,
there you are.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, I'll just talk about it. Just to give the credit for 9to5 Google I'm reading off of. Google commits to 100 more games coming in 2021, and then here the next 9, which is kind of a nice little heads up. Probably getting a roadmap. We're getting people some where the train tracks are kind of going. So we got 9 games. A bunch of them are from Way Forward, which is they make the Shantae games from that series. The Half Genie Hero, and then they're also having another game. I was trying to find in here. Why does it not say it right here? Oh no! But yeah, there's like 2 Shantae games. The Risky Revenge Director's Cut and Half Genie Hero Ultimate Edition. We also get there is K's. I think K's. K's in the Wild Mass. That's what it's. Another like 90s style platformer. It actually looks really cool. I really like the art stuff of the game. It looks really fun. It reminds me a lot of Monster Boy, which kind of gain different powers and finding different abilities, which has to be kind of excited for it. You got It Came from Space and Ate Our Brains, which is a game I'm not familiar with at all. Let me what does this game look like? Okay, it looks like a little interesting game. We got the big one, which we've known about already. And they kind of just reiterated it with this, was Judgment, which is coming to Stadia on April 23rd. And they kind of pitch it as like a next-gen version of the game, so it's kind of big. Get for Stadia. And then with the Hailstorm rumors and whatever that ends up being, it could be Gen 2. So it could be really big for Stadia when it comes out. We also get FIFA 21, and they mentioned, which we were kind of new, March 17th. So that's almost a month away, which is pretty exciting. And Killer Queen Black, which is one I'm very, very excited for. I have it on Steam. I'll be getting it again on Stadia. I put this game back in the arcade. I just kind of want to talk to Aaron about this once he gets back, but he's still not here. So I'm just going to sit here and keep talking. I loved Killer Queen Black. I actually played at this convention down outside DC called MagFest. And it's a 5v5 arcade experience. And just the whole fan base around it is really fun. It's really engaging. I kept the whole time weekend I was there, I kept thinking about this game. It's all I could think about was wanting to go play this game, and I was terrible at it, but I just kept wanting to play it, getting good and get better and get better. There's two cabinets side by side that all have 5 people crammed around it. Just really fun experience. Obviously not in COVID times. Very, very, very scary idea now to have that. But Killer Queen Black it's an arcade battler where you have 3 different ways of winning. You have Snail, which is like a goal, like soccer, riding a snail to the other side. There's Military, which is killing the other person's queen 3 times, and there's Economy, which is getting these berries and bringing them to your hive. Your little bear bees. It's kind of interesting. Really interesting game. Combat's like Joust. If you ever played Joust back on it was an arcade game from the 80s. But yeah, same combat as Joust for combat, like whoever's the highest point. Like if you're touching each other, if you're the same level, you're not going to kill each other. But if one goes above the other one, then they kill them. It goes down. Like Killer Queen Black is a 4-person version of the game, so 4v4. Why they did that, I don't know. Maybe because controllers you can only have so many controllers on a console. But anywho, game is great. I played it on Steam. It's crossplay with Steam and Switch, so it's great that they're going to have that full breadth of competition. So often, actually, when I play on Steam, I get a lot of Switch players. So pretty excited for that, to get more people playing that game. And I think the last one is Street Power Football, which we kind of talked about last time, I believe. And actually, I did miss one other one. Hellpoint. Oh yeah, we're still on the list. I am working through it. I've been kind of talking about it all. I'm at the end. Actually, right here. Hellpoint. Yeah, that's what it was. Lastly, Hellpoint is a Dark Souls. Oh, scroll up. No.
This one, Killer Queen.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I just went on a big rant about Killer Queen. How it's one of my. I had a great game experience with that game. I'll just give you a quick run. I played at this. It's a 5v5 arcade cabinet in real life, and it's one of the coolest game experiences I've ever had.
I was at this convention is all I thought about for a week, for the whole weekend. And I thought about it after that too. It was so much fun. It's such a cool experience. Go back and listen to my whole rant about it.
I will go back and listen to our episode. I had my own saga. I went to go grab a Kleenex and I was out. So I had to go find another box.
Oh,
and I've never felt so much pressure trying to open a box of Kleenex in my life.
At that point, you just go to the
he's only
bathroom.
on one article I have to get back.
It's a long enough article. But as on the last game, as Hellpoint, which is a Dark Souls like action RPG set in a dark, mysterious. I can't read it because of Derelict Space Station.
That's interesting.
Yeah, sounds interesting. Honestly, I don't think I missed anything else. That's.
I'm so
Power
excited
Street
about
Football,
Judgment.
Killer Queen, Judgment, Cancer Space Brains, FIFA, and then the 3 Way Forward games. K's. I'm actually I said before, K's in the Wild Mass. I'm pretty excited for it. It has the like old school style game. It kind of reminds me a lot of Monster Boy in terms of like getting your abilities. This game I recommend looking at. It's by the same people who make the Shantae games, which are also coming to Stadia, which is cool. So yeah, that's it. But also in that whole press release that I kind of glanced over in the beginning, but they talked about 100 games and more coming out this year to Stadia.
Okay.
Which is I kind of like glossed over that because I want to talk to you more about that and just talk about the games that are coming out. But yeah, what do you think about the 100 games? It's I mean, they said 400 on track for 400 games to 2023. I maybe on our last episode said this year. I mean, sorry if I don't quote me on that one. But yeah, I know it's 400 games coming. Like they had planned for the console. But yeah, 100 games this year, which is I
think that's
pretty
a good goal. I think that's impressive. I think they need it. I don't think they need to like win over a ton of people necessarily after the whole shutdown thing. I just think any goodwill you can get right now is important.
Yes, absolutely. And giving us at least upfront, like, hey, these are the games you have coming out this next 2 months or so. Grant is really awesome. I'm glad they're actually finally doing it. I think we might even get more in there just because of ESRB stuff that we have pop off. We may get more than just those 9, which is kind of confusing. Like, why not just announce those other ones too? I mean, these even just didn't even, some of these didn't even have dates. They just said coming soon on the dates. So like, why not? Like, we talked about it's on the dock for later, but like this one game, Blue Fire was rated for Stadia, which I can take that off the dock now. That's rated for Stadia. Why is that not in this article if we know it's
right?
Seemingly coming to Stadia.
Know it's coming.
Yeah, I mean, like it doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, it just that's one thing still a little frustrating. But maybe that's just because the publisher doesn't want to announce it yet, and that Stadia has to buy by the publishers. But why they wouldn't want to announce the game's coming to Stadia when it's going to come to Stadia, it doesn't make any sense. It's all dumb stuff.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
But 100 games is
it's a lot. I mean, that's a good library increase.
That's at least doubling the library currently. Yeah. So
no,
and to say and more. So at least they're giving like, hey, 100 minimum, and there could be more.
Right, and we could even go beyond that. I already said it like very briefly, but I'm excited for Judgment in that passing. And 100 games is huge. Aaron says, I'm excited about the 100 games. Something tells me it won't be the right games for haters, but one thing I loved about Stadia is it prompted me to branch out. Haven't looked back since I did.
That is true. Like a lot of people say, like, yeah, these are games you wouldn't necessarily play or you played on other consoles. So like you're right. I am diving into games I probably wouldn't play otherwise because I like Stadia so much. I want to try the games on it. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's going to be a detriment to the console. I mean, just trying games I wouldn't normally try, I think it makes me a better gamer, and just I'm enjoying playing games where I want to play them. Like, this is just where I want to play them. That's just a testament to how much I enjoy Stadia. Right. I'm playing games I wouldn't normally play because I want to play here.
Same. I think Little Nightmares probably would have been something that passed up on me, but then I was like, you know what? 1 and 2 are both here. Our next story is obviously that it's 2 is free, free with Pro, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But no, I mean, I love that point that it's gotten me to try games I wouldn't necessarily try. I slept on Hitman forever. Mm-hmm. And now I finally played it and fell in love with the whole trilogy. So no,
the Tomb Raider games. I played the first. I still need to go back and play the second one, Rise and Shadow. I love that first game. That first game when Stadia first came out, I went through that whole game, and it's a game I always like. I like the Uncharted games. I'm like, Tomb Raider. I already have Uncharted. I don't need to play it, but I enjoyed the heck out of that first game. That was so much fun.
Wait till you get to that second one. The second one is juicy.
Yeah.
And now, not on Stadia because it was free on PlayStation, I'm playing the third one.
Well, it was free on Stadia as well. Yeah, the third one, wasn't it?
No, only 1 and 2, and I kept waiting for them to drop 3, and it never happened.
They dropped 3. Oh, no, it was. Yeah, it was on PlayStation though. I remember that.
Yeah. So our next story is Little Nightmares 2 is free on Stadia Pro. Also, for our live viewers, I want you to know I have 2 headlines to get through, and then I'm going to be giving away our first code for Madden 21 on Stadia.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. It's coming soon. If that's what you're here for, the goods are getting delivered. I sound really sexy when I say it like that, is with this terrible voice.
And I'm going to say again, I apologize if you can hear my daughter.
I still can't.
Oh, that's good because she is still going. I feel so bad for my wife right now. I feel so bad for my wife.
Not dealing.
I'm going to give my wife a back massage tonight because she's going to need it.
Attaboy. Yeah, as shared on Bandai Namco's blog, Little Nightmares 2 sequel to the 2017 horror puzzle platform will indeed arrive on Stadia when it launches this week. It already is now out.
For those last Thursday.
And it's going to be free to Stadia Pro members,
which is crazy because day and date release free with Pro. Like that's like
good value.
What a good way to get goodwill too.
Yeah.
The people that are like, oh, I don't want to try Stadia. Stadia is dead. Like, oh wait, but there's this game that I want to play that's free here instead of free. I can get a month free and beat it in that
2
month.
months
and
free
free
if you
or
want one of our codes.
Yeah. So
yeah, and if at the same time, if for some reason you're just like, I just don't ever want Pro, you can also just buy the game outright for $30.
Yeah. Or you can get Pro for $9 a month or $10 a month and play it for
literally, even if you beat it in 1 month, you will have saved yourself $20 off this one game.
Yeah. If you actually pay for it, don't get it free. So it's there's no reason not to. I've even told my one friend who actually gave a controller, one of my controllers, to borrow before he goes and hikes for 8 months, because he wants to play his game. Like, hey, well, it's free on Stadia. He wants to play with a few other of my friends, so it'd be on Stadia's other games. So I'm like, hey, you can get it for free. You don't have to spend any money. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
It was also interesting to note that the Stadia port for Little Nightmares 2 is being handled by Supermassive Games, the studio responsible for Until Dawn.
I thought it was really odd, but the thing is, like, Stadia also has that partnership with them to do a game,
right?
So I'm not sure if it's because, like, hey, they're already familiar with building it, porting a game to Stadia because that's what, or making a game on Stadia. If that's
it'll be
they
really interesting,
if they just handed it to them to port
that trend,
to have them port things, or I'm still curious if they're going to keep some of the people that were hired to make Jade Raymond Studio. They're going to keep them to help port as well. Yeah. Because in a later story, we'll talk about there's talks about them helping people still port games. So someone internally is still doing stuff. So I don't want to bury the lead on that too much, but
yeah, no, that's fair.
Next story, we got Stadia
Hints and Hogwarts website.
Yeah, thank you, Stadia Source, for this article. Yeah,
our good friends over at Stadia Source. If you haven't been checking them out, what are you doing with your life? Go talk to them, watch their shows, check out their streams. They're good people.
Yeah. So if you want me, save your voice.
My voice is awful. I'm gonna sip on my hot tea while you talk about this story.
Let me help you out. So Warner Brothers Games has 2 highly anticipated games on the horizon: Hogwarts Legacy and Gotham Knights, Harry Potter and Batman games, respectively. I know they found this in some of the CSS code. I know Jem had found some stuff. Jem and someone else had found some stuff. I forget who it was. Over the weekend about Hogwarts. I didn't actually. Gotham is one thing I had not heard about until reading this article. The evidence that they have the Stadia beacon and whatnot in the footer and header for the games, which means that hey, when these websites go live, Stadia logo doesn't appear in the website yet. But it means they could have it ready. Granted, could this be something that they just have by default for everything, and they just kind of like double hash to have it available when it's ready? But the thing is, if you want to scroll down to you're already there. I always had the article up so I can read it easier.
I was ahead of the game.
So yeah, there might be not too clear as they seem. Not to burst anyone's bubble, though. It comes to this sort of thing. But let's look at it this way. Look at why we shouldn't be too quick to jump to conclusions, because again, this is CSS code. Warner Brothers does have games on Stadia already, Mortal Kombat 11, and they view CSS style sheets behind it the same. And viewing the CSS style sheets behind it also reveals the same exact 2 entries of the word Stadia in very similar coding. It's likely that WB website could be using the same styling as mentioned above. Like I said, they could just be having it and like mark
in
it
the
out.
code and then they hide it.
Yeah, so it could just be something like that. But hey, it's seeing it there is, again, yeah, big grain of salt, but it would be a big win for Stadia to get these games, and especially since Warner Brothers was already working closely with Stadia, especially with the MK11 was one of the first crowd play, I think it was crowd play games to be on the platform. I remember the first game they actually had people playing on YouTube. I'm blanking on his name right now. I feel terrible about it. It was a big problem because he wasn't a normal Stadia guy, but he started streaming MK11, giving out codes and so I mean they're already closely partnering with WB. I could see it actually happening.
Me too.
But yeah, is it going to happen? Definitely. Who knows now with everything going on? They talk about third-party issues, but then again, they're also getting Sega on board with Judgment. So who knows? But yeah, just be hopeful, but not do not be just expecting.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all that.
And that brings us to our first Madden code of the night. This is a really tricky way to get a free copy of Madden 21 on Stadia. Thank you again to Waba Plays, twitch.tv/Waba Plays. Go check out his stuff. He is an EA Game Changer affiliate. So that's how we were able to get these codes. And I just want to say thank you again to him for being able to do this. So there it is. There's your very first code. I'll put these in the show notes. So if you aren't watching live, you'll have another shot at this. But
yeah, it's easier than me reading them off.
Yep. I'm thinking here it is. So that's literally all you have to do. I'm going to just leave this here while we talk about the next story.
Yeah.
And then if you would be so kind and just comment in the video and say, hey, I won Madden, I will put your comment up. We'll let people know that first code is in fact gone. But there it is. Get it. Get that okay. Madden.
So
I'm going to hide it just for 2 seconds. I promise that code will be right back up. Kickstarter game, Skyclimbers gets a big boost from the Stadia community. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, really excited about this. It's been fun to watch on Twitter. I've been adding and retweeting them and doing all. I made my Stadia stonks meme, and I've been posting out all their stuff because to the moon with this game. It's on.
Heck yeah.
I'm not sure if it's their first time Kickstarter or not. If they're first time Kickstarter people, I should want to.
Now, I've watched just a little bit about this, but tell me about Skyclimbers.
So, from what I'm telling from their Kickstarter page, if you want to pull up actually in the doc, there's their Kickstarter page. If you want to pull that up, so we can kind of scroll through and talk about the game.
Bam! I was ready for you.
Oh damn! So yeah, it is a kingdom builder game where you can collect monsters like Pokemon that also evolve. You can ride on them, and it seems like there's a little bit of a survival game in there too. Because there's like hunger. I want to say if you scroll through, you can see tell us about real time building, and I love kingdom builders. Like I love parts of it. Dark Cloud 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I love Ni no Kuni as well. But Ni no Kuni 2 had kingdom building. The one did not, which was very upsetting. And the whole ability to build your kingdom and place things is always really fun.
Usually they're like way up high and like top down, right?
To a degree, but like in Dark Cloud 2,
like
Dark Cloud 2 is a RPG.
Okay.
But like it has like an area where you can build like a town. You go around taking pictures of stuff, and you unlock different like things you can build by taking pictures of different things, and then you add them to your village. It's really I love Dark Cloud 2. It's a great game. Level 5 is one of my favorite devs. They're underrated. But yeah, so different classes you can choose from here. I know they're adding more classes based on stretch goals. I think they're up to 4, and they're getting close to their 5th one because I know last I checked, they're at like 130,000, and they're their goal was like 20. Kickstarter.
Their goal is 25,000 to start, and they're already at 136.
Yeah, and it's only like 5 days in, 6 days in now. I want to say maybe a little bit. Yeah, about 6
less, but I could be wrong.
But yeah, it's Kickstarter notoriously, I in the board game industry at least, they'll make their starting like a lot, unless it's like a real young first time developer, they'll make their goal low, so then when they hit it, they say have on their banners funded in 24 hours,
right?
Or 3,000 times the percent of the like.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, it's not a real goal. Like I respect it a lot. There's one developer I follow for board game stuff. They put their starting one at 100,000. I'm like, okay, that's like a legitimate number.
Yeah,
because some Kickstarters on for board games only hit 300,000. Like, and like some hit a lot less than that. Some hit like 25,000. But hitting 300,000 is like a good bar to end. We got the code, by the way, if you want to.
Oh, we did.
Already.
Let's take a look at our first winner.
Creed.
Apollo. Enjoy the game, man. Yeah, obviously find us on Stadia. You can play us. We both have it. So our next code will be coming up at the end of the show. We do have one more to give away. So keep listening. Stay tuned.
But yeah, so I respect the developers of at least publishers and whatnot on the board game side when they put respectable goals out, because otherwise a lot of times they just kind of put random stuff out there. But yeah, it's tons of different classes. The art style is a little interesting. It reminds me a little bit of like a RuneScape in a way, like in terms of like the cell shading and like the faces kind of being a little bit more washed out. But the rest of the game looks beautiful. Like some of these character models look awesome.
This has very big Breath of the Wild feels.
Oh, go down more. You get some.
And then you get a little bit of
Horizon Zero Dawn feels, and you got these guys. So all these monsters evolve like from different forms.
Oh wow!
Actually, because of the Stadia community, they actually made one of the animals now themed and named after Stadia. They actually have a whole poll for Stadia.
Oh yeah, for naming the monster.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it should have been called Beacon, but it wasn't even an option because the Stadia Beacon and Beacon for a bird would be a cool name. But.
I like it. So yeah, this looks really cool, beautiful. And they're crushing their Kickstarter, which is awesome. I'm excited. We don't have any idea on like release dates or anything like that, right?
They have it's their soft dates, but they say Q2 for the PC alpha. I have a feeling based on the other article attachment I have in the thing. If you want to pull that up to the Twitter post.
Yeah. Well.
As you have our doc open,
showing how the sausage is made, as they say.
Yeah. I had their tweet in there, which I think is kind of cool, which is like the bigger headline for this all is that because of how much the Stadia community is getting behind this game, they say Stadia Google actually reached out to them to help them expedite the process and getting the game to Stadia, which is awesome news. Like, to all the people hating on Stadia, like this is Google actually going out of their way to reach out to help a developer out.
That's really cool. And all because their fan base made so much noise about this Kickstarter to say, you guys need to be paying attention to this. And Google said, okay, we will. And then hollered at them.
Yeah. So I'm hoping maybe that we even get the alpha ported over earlier. I'm hoping that because it was supposed to be PC. If you go, actually, I can pull. I have it up, so it's fine. They say in their thing, I thought I said,
the Kickstarter.
Yeah, in the Kickstarter, in the pledges, it says PC expected to ship in Q4 of 2021, and consoles, mobile, and Stadia mid 2020. So I'm thinking, sorry, 2022, yeah,
mid last year.
Yeah, mid last year. No, 2022. So I'm actually realistically thinking if Google is going to help them port the game, which is part of the process difficulties, we might get it even sooner than the consoles and other if they're going to help out.
I could see this becoming a partnership for sure.
Absolutely. But it's so cool that they're actually helping with them. It's a small developing team. It looks like they're based on the bottom of their page. I think they did mostly like Oculus stuff.
Oh, nice.
They did some, So I'm happy for them. I'm excited for them. They have Yeah, stretch goals. I think I want to see what their total right now was. Yeah, they're 136,000 right now as we almost under 3,000. 2,722 backers with 23 days to go. So yeah, it's $30 right now for the pledge, and there's 40 you can do 45 to get 2 codes and 2 alpha codes. So I may up a bit to that. I was saying so we can get the alpha as well.
Let's
and
go.
yeah, it's they have a few more stretch goals for another 5th class to add 150,000, and then at 250,000 to hit that, a 4th dynasty added. I'm not sure what the dynasties are. I didn't really read that heavy into their page.
It looks like it's a lot about like the architecture of the kingdom that you're going to build and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It looked like they had a lot of like East Asian architecture for one and type kingdom, and then more of like a medieval look for another type of kingdom. So I think that's cool. It's going to make it like regionalize it essentially, which is interesting. So
yeah, but the game again looks beautiful. I'm excited for it. So
yeah,
I wish the actual like human your character model looked mainly the faces.
There's
I think
time.
look weird. Yeah, it's time. But yeah, it's early.
I agree. The face models just look a little
just like washed. It's
generic-y.
But yeah, that's Skyclimbers. Go check them out on Kickstarter.
And that was some very happy news and some not as happy news.
Yeah.
Terraria's port to Stadia is caught in the YouTube account crossfire. This story comes from 9 to 5 Google. I have not seen this update. Studio response: Stadia port of Terraria canceled after co-creator locked out of Google accounts.
Yeah.
It's unfortunately not a super uncommon issue for people to be randomly locked out of Google accounts. And in many cases, the recovery process is full of a lot of frustrating waiting. And that's what happened to the co-creator of Terraria. And as a result, the game's upcoming port to Google Stadia was canceled entirely.
Yeah, and he will not put any of his games on Google products going forward. So he still wants that Google money for the game for Terraria that he has on the Play Store already. But he doesn't want that Google money going forward.
Yeah,
but I have a feeling when he sees the Google money, when he sees how much money he's making, when he's not making the Google money.
So yeah, this guy, he tweeted out on February 7th, 2021, my phone has lost access to thousands of dollars of apps on Google Play. I had just bought LOTR 4K and can't finish it. My Google Drive data is completely gone. I can't access my YouTube channel. The worst of all is losing access to my Gmail address of over 15 years. I have not done anything to violate your terms of service, so I can take this no other way than you deciding to burn this bridge. Consider it burnt. Terraria for Google Stadia is canceled. My company will no longer support any of your platforms moving forward. This feels like such a hissy fit.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I understand. I do. But I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about this CEO like tweeting out, being like, "Screw you, Google. I'm taking my game and I'm going home."
Yeah, the some of the narratives I've seen from some of the other talking heads of Stadia that we are in the pool of is that this looks bad on Stadia for the fact that people. Other third-party developers may not want to develop for Stadia if this is how they're handling their third-party people. Granted, how much of this was Stadia aware of, or was this just because it seems like it's just his? It seems like it's really just his YouTube account. The one guy's personal account is locked out. It's not like the Stadia stuff has to do with it. So it's like this guy's personal account got locked out, and so he's not making the game for Stadia now because he's had so many issues with Google. So like, it seems like a little bit of a hissy fit, and I think people are taking it a little bit in the wrong way in that way. Like, it's not like it was a Stadia developer account or anything like that. It was literally just his personal Gmail account was locked out, and he spent 3 weeks trying to recover it. If Stadia maybe knew, maybe they could have helped him out. Like, say, hey, I'm working on your game, but I can't get my Google account. Can you help me out? Like, again, I don't know if they did, but like, it just, people are thinking it sends a bad message. I think it's just, hey, this is another black mark they don't need but it's not really a black mark to me. Like, it just doesn't seem like it's like Google. It's a non-Google Stadia issue that's now a Stadia issue because it's a Google issue that's now a Stadia issue because Google can't get their heads straight. I didn't just skim through the updates. I really didn't really look. Just the timeline looks like.
Yeah, and they just like the folks over at Stadia Source got in touch with the studio behind Terraria, got a bit more context on the situation as well as to confirm the co-creators' tweets.
Okay,
it's really just kind of going into like all the things that they don't want to do. It's pretty lengthy.
Yeah, I something to do with his YouTube account. Him like saying his video, like he uploaded something when he didn't upload a video. I remember seeing that in some of the other stuff. So
yeah, so the Demilogic account receives a notice from YouTube alleging a violation in mid to late January. This is quite a bit confusing to us. We've not uploaded in 3 months. No one in our massive fan base subscribers noticed any new content uploaded, much less anything offensive. Additionally, the initial correspondence from YouTube on the matters were clear that this was not a major issue. Since that time, our efforts on Twitter with the support team at YouTube, we have been informed that our Relogic YouTube channel is clean and has no issues. To date, we have not been informed of any real. So the problem is so much of this shit is just automated, right? Like,
yeah,
there's going to be a lot of auto responses that aren't going to get anywhere. And this is something that I can actually speak to on a very personal level. I work in digital marketing for those listening who don't know. And a massive part of my job is to work directly with Google and Google support. And it can be an absolute nightmare. And it can be a huge pain in the ass to get tech support from a company this size. So I can only imagine how frustrated they were trying to figure all this out, especially when it doesn't seem like there was anything huge going on. You wonder if somebody reported a video and that just like sent this whole thing spiraling. But I still think I just think it's a bad look on this CEO to tweet out this super angry, like, they've locked me out, so I'm not going to make anything for your platform. Yeah. I don't know. I can't imagine getting like locked out of my Outlook and being like, I'm not making games for Xbox anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just
my Sony TV broke, so I'm not going to put any of my video games on PlayStation. You're just like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
It seems like it's a little blown out of proportion on his end.
The voice but then the media is taking and running with it too, which is just not great.
Of course, as one does.
Yeah.
Jacob, you're taking the next one because this voice is heading out.
Yeah, no problem. I got you, fam. So this is really quick. Kind of what we were talking about before, even with I kind of almost wish I kind of tied this in then. Another game is hitting ESRB or Peggy this time for Saints Row the Third, which is not a new game by any means, but it's a game a lot of people really enjoy. And Deep Silver has been pretty on board with Stadia in terms of like games like at launch. I mean, they had Darksiders was on PC and Darksiders Genesis was on PC and Stadia before it was on consoles. So they've been pretty supportive of the platform. And yeah, so the Brazilian rating board, my bad, which is even more odd because it's not even in Brazil. So. But the tweet, someone tweeted at
super interesting is they tweeted at Saints Row's official Twitter account. Didn't mean to click on that, and Saints Row responded with more news soon.
Yeah, but but within that time, Stadia has announced games coming out too. So this seems like it's just a publisher thing. They're waiting for it to get clear to be able to say yes. Oddly enough, because games don't always need a clear ESRB to be announced, or Peggy.
How do you feel about this news?
I mean, it's a game that when I worked at GameStop when this game came out, and I had to tell people that were trying to buy it for the 7-year-olds, hey, you shouldn't buy this game for your 7-year-old, but they still bought it anyway. So,
I mean, it's like an over-the-top GTA, right? I haven't played Saints Row since maybe the third. I think that might have been the last one.
The third was the one game that most people only played the third, and then the fourth one, and then like ignore the first two. The first one was like more like a straight up like almost like mafia game, if I'm not mistaken. And then the two was like got a little more silly. This one's the first one to go like really silly, and fourth goes like above and beyond that, almost too far, from my understanding. I've not played any of the games. I'll play this. I mean, if it's free, especially too, it's an older game.
Paulo Creed says he hadn't heard the Stadia or the Saints Row news yet. That's why you come to Speaking of Stadia to get that good juicy news.
Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
This is pretty cool. Again, it's a well-liked game that is coming to the platform, and then I'll take all those.
I mean, it's an open world game that I get to go just mess around and do stuff in. So
exactly, it's a fun playground.
You better believe I'm going to pick it up.
It's a fun playground. So yeah. So a quick little thing, and the last little bit is just kind of housekeeping.
Yeah, some new games coming out. But while we do that, Mr. Porter,
you want to
let's give away One
Okay.
more code of Madden 21. Thanks so much for hanging out and listening to us. We appreciate you. One last time, I'm going to give him a plug just because I appreciate that he did this so much. Twitch.tv/Wabba Plays, WABBA Plays. Go check out his stream. Go give him some love. He was nice enough to give us some codes to give out to you fine folks watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, code time. Enter it. And again, if you don't mind, just put it in chat that you redeemed it. Otherwise, I'm going to tweet out a screenshot of this after this. So, yeah, while that's happening, we're going to tell you about some new games that are available.
Yeah. So these are games we haven't recorded an actual full episode in like 3 weeks. So some of these are a little old. Sorry if they are. Gods Will Fall came out, as well as Epistory to Typing Chronicles. Piku Inu Iku. I can never pronounce that right.
Iku. That's how I kept
yes,
saying it.
Yeah. Which we talked about last time is out, and then Crata is now free to play for all. So even if you're not a pro member, you can now get Crata for free. You just don't get the deluxe. The deluxe is extra now. So
I have not jumped into that game in a minute.
Yeah, I want to jump back into
it?
that game. I have not jumped back into that either. So I'm the same as you. And then games coming soon are coming. I guess coming in general. New games we know about. 100 Days, which is a winemaking simulator coming out in May. And
heck yeah!
And the other one is a game that we had known it was coming out last summer, but they got pushed due to COVID, I believe.
Okay.
Or some other issues. Chris Tale, it's a anime style, like very Persona-ish 2D perspective RPG. Like the art style is very Persona in terms of like the actual like battle menus. Like I'm like, this is a little like copywriting. But it looks really cool art style. It looks like a really interesting game. That is also coming in July now. So I think everywhere, not even just Stadia. So that's that. I can't think of anything else that we would need to talk about. I probably missed really 17 things
about this winemaking simulator.
It looks like it looks interesting. It looks a sim perspective too. So it's that isometric view.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I hadn't even heard of this. I'm excited to go look that up.
I wish I had added art. I was gonna add like links to a bunch of these games. I'm like, oh, these are like these little talking points. I want to throw them in. Like now, I'm like, damn, I should have had that.
No big deal.
Yeah,
Mr. Porter, I think that does it for yet another episode.
Sorry. One last thing. This is kind of a joke. I wasn't gonna add this, but we could see a Paw Patrol game coming to Stadia by the end of the year.
Yes. Honestly, that's going to be huge for you in a year.
Trust me. I actually don't want my daughter to get into Paw Patrol. My nieces were really into it. It's like, I don't know. Like we're more into if we're gonna have her watch TV, like to have her like watch we've actually been watching a lot of Eleanor Wonders Why, which is actually a really cute show. You probably missed the boat on because your son's still burnt now. But the really adorable show about like science and stuff, like bugs, animals, which my wife's like all into. She is a biologist.
His really big educational show was
Daniel.
Wild Kratts. God, he loved Wild Kratts.
Okay, I'll look into that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's two brothers. They get suits that turn them into different animals as they learn about animals. And yeah, he was obsessed with that show. We had Wild Kratts toys and all sorts of stuff.
Nice. That's what I like. The thing about, I guess, besides my daughter watches Daniel Tiger, Eleanor Wonders Why, and Sesame Street mostly. She's a big Elmo fan. Big Elmo fan.
Gotta love that Elmo.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if nobody
think of that would we need to talk about. Paw Patrol coming out. More games coming to Stadia. Paw Patrol. Right. So.
Well, nobody took this code in chat that I can see. I am going to just tweet out a screenshot and see if we can't give this away to people. Otherwise, that does it for the 17th episode of Speaking of Stadia. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, listening, commenting, hanging out. If you don't mind, of course, if you're already on our YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We would love to get to 100 subscribers. I think we're pretty close. We're at like 65, something like that.
Yeah. Pump up those numbers, guys.
Pump up those numbers. And when we get to 100, we just get a unique URL so that I can actually tell you, please come hang out with us on youtube.com/Speaking of Stadia. It's going to be so much easier than the gobbledygook that they got going on over there right now. So please help us out. Subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Let's get to 100. See what we can do.
Go to youtube.com/channel/UC6.
I'm not doing it. So if you could just help us out, let's get that unique URL. That would be amazing.
We're at 68. So pump those numbers up, guys.
Mr. Porter, where can the lovely people find you on the internet?
Too Tall Porter, pretty much everywhere that's important. Stadia, I think. Well, PlayStation, I'm Quijibo 5, which is don't. Yeah, that's an annoying name. Quigibo 5. Otherwise, Too Tall Porter. I stay on Stadia and Twitter. I've been trying to post a little bit more frequently on my actual account, not just proxying our freaking account of mine.
I love it.
But I do most. Granted, Aaron does post sometimes on our actual account, but I do more of the posting on our personal account, on our platform account. But yeah,
you're way more active on Speaking of Stadia. I kind of just let you run it at this point, and then I have.
I mean, you post your fun stuff, and you flirt with Stadia on your personal account. And
that was so nice of them to flirt with me back when I asked them to be my Valentine.
That was
what
funny.
A cute little account.
It's cool.
Yeah, of course, you guys can come hang out with me at Twitter at Aaron Cini. I am sorry, I'm really distracted. I just found out that
I'm beautiful. I know.
Vincent Jackson.
You just found out about that?
Yeah, and what you don't know is me and him went to the same college, so like
I didn't
parties and stuff, and he got drafted straight out of UNC. So
I also forget how much older than me you are. So like, I don't mean insulting, but like the fact that you would be like the same age as him too, like that.
He's literally my him and my older brother were in the same class, and my older brother wrestled for UNC while he was playing football, and all the athletes knew each other. So he actually knew Vincent Jackson pretty well. So that's really bummer. And that's kind of why my jaw hit the floor. I hadn't
they don't know the. I guess we can talk about this afterwards, but yeah, a little more now. I'm like
into this the sports
the sports world. But yeah.
Anyways, find me on Twitter at Aaron Cini. Thanks again so much for listening. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter at Speak of Stadia, not Speaking, because it was just a little too long. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope I have a better voice next week for you all, because this is crazy, but we made it through. We did it. And
it sounded great. It sounded beautiful.
Tomorrow. It's fine. All right. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.